crooks in cricket, sports enthusiasts of the country are now relishing an international football tournament involving foreign national teams at the Prime Minister Three Nations Cup. Good evening, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Workers leaving for foreign employment included in the Social Security Program, including pension package, listing in the fund a mandatory requirement for new work permit seekers. Bagmati Chief Minister Shalikram Jamaikatel seeking the vote of confidence. The floor test is a formality with the support of Nepali Congress. Russian forces attacked several Ukrainian cities, killing at least 4 in a drone strike on a residential area of Kyiv, an 11-year-old among the wounded. And Nepal playing Laos in the inaugural match of the Prime Minister Three Nations Cup today. A young Nepal squad aiming for good performance despite exit of several players. The Social Security Fund has begun including workers that have opted for foreign employment and businesses in the Social Security Program. Organizing a program attended by Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal, the fund has begun listing the workers that have opted for foreign employment in the Social Security Program. It is now mandatory for the workers to be listed in the fund to apply for a new labor permit. Addressing the program, Premier Dahal said that workers will receive pension after they retire, which he said will have a positive impact in their life. Premier Dahal announced of incorporating workers of public service sector as well in the Social Security Fund. The Premier assured of monitoring the hassles encountered by labourers. Around 2,000 workers apply for labour permits on a daily basis. According to the policy, these workers will now have to contribute at least 21.3% of their basic salary, which is a minimum of 2,000 rupees and a maximum 3 times in the fund. The contributors will have access to accident insurance up to 100,000 rupees and disability pensions up to 5,631 rupees annually. Likewise, dependent families will get 3,754 rupees worth lifetime pension, and children of workers below the age of 21 will receive education allowance up to 3,754 rupees. Based on the latest update, 399,566 labourers have already been listed in the Social Security Fund. The fund has collected 30,870 million rupees. The Social Security Program was implemented on 27th of November 2018. Bagmati Chief Minister Shalikram Jamaikatel is seeking the vote of confidence yet again. Chief Minister Jamaikatel is seeking the vote of confidence for the second time after Rashtriya Prajatantra Party withdrew its support to the province government. At a time when Rashtriya Prajatantra Party, which had 13 seats in the Provincial Assembly, has quit the province government and a new political equation has been formed at the centre, Nepali Congress is set to extend its support to the province government. In the 110-member Bagmati Provincial Assembly, Nepali Congress has 37 seats and has decided to extend the vote of confidence to the government. Meanwhile, CPN-UML, which is still in the province government, has yet to decide on whether or not to extend the trust vote. Votes from Nepali Congress and CPN-Maoist Centre are adequate for the province government to secure a majority. Support from 56 province assembly members is required to form the government, while seats of Nepali Congress and CPN-Maoist Centre total 58. Prior to this, 105 provincial assembly members of CPN-UML, Nepali Congress, CPN-Maoist Centre, CPN Unified Socialist, Hamro Nepali Party and Rashtriya Prajatantra Party had extended the trust vote to Jamaikatel. Parliamentarian Bimala Rai Paudel has sought answers from the government regarding yesterday's incident where police did not allow a few youths to talk. Addressing today's session of the National Assembly, Parliamentarian Paudel said that the incident where police used force against the youth was a violation of the right to speech and a wrong use of force by police. 3 youths had chanted against Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal at New Baneshwar yesterday. Parliamentarian Paudel has sought answers from the Ministry of Home Affairs on the use of force by police. Registration of political parties for the by-election for 3 vacant seats of the House of Representatives from Chitwan, Tanahu and Bara have begun today. The Election Commission has allocated from today until 26th of March for the registration of parties for the by-election slated for the 23rd of April. Candidacies are to be registered on 3rd of April, grievances are to be filed on 14th of April, while the list of candidates after required investigations is to be published on 5th of April. Candidates can withdraw their name on 6th of April, while the Election Commission will assign the election symbol on the same day. The Commission, which had begun updating the voters' name list from 15th of March, will conclude required works on 30th of March. Elections are to be held in the constituency of President Ramchandra Paudel in Tanahu 1, Vice President Ram Sahaya Prasad Yadav in Bara 2, and Chitwan 2 of Chairperson of Rashtriya Swatantra Party Rabi Lamichhane, whose parliamentarian position was scrapped by the Supreme Court. There are a total of 134,000 voters in Chitwan 2, 123,000 in Tanahu 1 and 106,000 in Bara 2. Nepali Congress senior leader Shekhar Koirala has condemned the government decision to tap private cell phones. Leader Koirala expressed objection after the government prepared a draft bill that will allow the government officials to directly record the conversations and activities of the public in their telephone, mobile and social media platforms. Leader Koirala, through his social media, said that the move is unacceptable in democracy. Koirala said the government attempt to proceed with the bill, which previously was halted amid widespread criticism, was questionable. Koirala has drawn the attention of concerned entities, including political parties, human rights activists, civil society and media. The government had withdrawn from introducing the bill in mid-July-August 2019 amid widespread criticism from the then opposition Nepali Congress, among other political parties and civil society. Meanwhile, preparations are being made to introduce the bill at a time when Congress is the member of the ruling alliance. President Ramchandra Paudel has planted trees at Bankali of Pashupati Nath Temple in Kathmandu today. On the occasion of Chait Shukla Pratipada, President Paudel planted saplings at Bankali. According to former Secretary of the Ministry of Forest, Yuvraj Bhushal, tree plantation was held in Bankali to mark a traditional New Year. According to Bhushal, President Paudel is also to plant saplings of trees in Lumbini for national peace. Police have arrested 6 individuals involved in betting transactions with more than 415.5 million rupees in the digital wallets opened in the name of 35 individuals. Those arrested have been identified as Dilip Singh Kathayat, Bhupal Raj Neupane, Nayan Raj Bhandari, Barun Kumar Singh, Basudev Pandey and Shivani Tamang. According to spokesperson at Kathmandu Valley Crime Investigation Office, Somendra Singh Rathore, bank accounts of those arrested have been frozen while additional investigation is underway. According to police, at least 90.8 million rupees has been found transacted by betting by those arrested. Meanwhile, another group involved in issuing Nepali citizenship for Tibetan refugees has also been arrested. 5 individuals arrested on the 19th of March were made public today. Chitwan National Park has removed the houses and temporary shelters built by encroaching the surrounding areas of Makwanpur's Manahari Rural Municipality, Ward No. 6 and Lothar River. The national park was compelled to use force as its several requests for removal of the houses and temporary shelters built by encroaching the area were ignored. According to Information Officer of National Park, Ganesh Prasad Tiwari, a total of 9 houses were removed. A total of 82 individuals benefited with cataract surgeries at the eye camp held in Beni of Myagdi. Free surgeries were held for senior citizens at the eye camp held in different locations. Prior to the surgery camp, another campaign was conducted in the joint effort of the local levels and several organizations to identify the patients from more than a dozen settlements requiring surgeries. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. What is the reason for the delay in holding the meeting of Constitutional Council? The options are A. Lack of relevant law, B. Politicization at the court, and C. Result of instability. Voting is on. Tap any EWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. Russian forces have attacked several Ukrainian cities, killing at least 4 people in a drone strike on a residential area of Kyiv region. An 11-year-old was among the wounded, rescue services said. Russian missiles also hit residential buildings in the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhzhia, injuring 18 people, including 2 children, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said. Separately, officials in Russian-annexed Crimea said a Ukrainian drone attack on their fleet were repulsed. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia had launched more than 20 killer drones as well as missiles and shells. Referring to China President Xi Jinping's departure from Russia hours earlier, he said that every time someone tries to hear the word peace in Moscow, another order was given to launch attacks. On Tuesday, President Vladimir Putin said that many provisions of a 12-point Chinese peace plan can be taken as the basis for setting off the conflict in Ukraine whenever the West and Kyiv are ready for it. In a separate Russian attack, 3 people were wounded in the southern city of Odessa when a 3-story building was hit in the grounds of a monastery, Presidential Chief of Staff Andrei Yermak said. Japanese and Polish prime ministers have said bilateral relations between the 2 countries are strong and will develop in different fields. Japan's Premier Fumio Kishida told media during a briefing in Warsaw that the 2 countries are further strengthening bilateral relations in various fields such as security, economy and energy. Kishida, fresh from his visit to Kyiv, where he met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky yesterday, thanked Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki for playing a major role in providing military and humanitarian help to Ukraine. Kishida's unexpected trip to Kyiv and Warsaw coincides with Chinese President Xi Jinping's state visit to Russia. Polish Prime Minister Morawiecki said in a statement that the Chinese president's visit to Moscow was very worrying, calling the China-Moscow axis dangerous. Japan is due to host a G7 summit in Kishida's hometown of Hiroshima in May. Tokyo has continually voiced support for Ukraine and joined sanctions against Russia. Sri Lanka has received the first tranche of an IMF bailout program, President Ranil Wickremesinghe told Parliament today. The crisis-ridden island nation was scheduled to receive a $330 million tranche, the first part of a nearly $3 billion bailout approved by the International Monetary Fund on Monday. The IMF bailout is expected to catalyze additional support to the tune of $3.75 billion from the likes of the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank and other lenders. 1,300 people fleeing insecurity have found themselves in a refugee camp in Delmas 19, one of the neighborhoods of the commune of Delmas in Haiti due to the violence unleashed by the war between criminal gangs in the country. Most of the refugees have been in the center since February 14, according to a camp monitor, who also added that people have had to leave their homes since January because of a gang war that broke out in the commune of Croix-des-Bouquets. Local rights group estimates gangs, not state security forces, now control all the capital, Port-au-Prince, and more than half the country. At least 160,000 people in Haiti have been displaced in a crisis caused by increasing violence between heavily armed gangs, the United Nations said on Tuesday, estimating that over 530 people have been killed this year. The UN office said at least 208 people died during 2 weeks of brutal fighting at the start of March, with snipers implicated in shooting randomly at people in their homes or on the streets. Mass sexual violence has also been reported against women and girls to terrorize, punish, and pressure families into paying kidnapping ransoms. Residents in the Bangladeshi capital, Dhaka, say they are struggling under the effects of high inflation, especially on food prices, during preparations for the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan. Long queues were forming at trucks selling government subsidies commodities such as rice and flour as part of the open market sales program intended to combat soaring food prices. Local market vendors, on the other hand, were seeing fewer customers, with one grain vendor telling that business was not going well, prices were higher and people's income lower. Although higher food costs are common ahead of Ramadan, rising inflation and disrupted food supply chains due to international crises such as the COVID pandemic and the war in Ukraine has caused relentless price hikes in the South Asian economy that is already battling energy shortages and a sliding currency. Meanwhile, inflation unexpectedly rose in Britain to 10.4% in February, pushed up by higher food prices and pricier drinks in pubs and restaurants, official data showed today, a day before the Bank of England announces its latest interest rate decision. Economists polled that the annual CPI rate would drop to 9.9% in February from January's 10.1% and move further away from October's 41-year high of 11.1%. The Bank of England is due to announce tomorrow whether it has raised interest rates for an 11th meeting in a row. Sterling rose against the dollar and the euro after the data was published. Interest rate futures show a 100% chance that the BOE would raise rates by at least a quarter point, up from just over 50% later on Tuesday. Higher alcoholic drink prices added 0.17 percentage point to the annual rate of inflation in February, while the increased cost of food and non-alcoholic beverages add 0.15 percent points. China's capital city of Beijing was affected by dense sandstorms that severely affected visibility earlier today, shrouding buildings and roads in a thick blanket of dust. The city, home to more than 21 million people, was issued a yellow sandstorm warning after experiencing sand and dust storms over the past several days, causing pollution levels to drastically increase. Residents said the adverse weather mostly did not hamper their daily routine, apart from the smell of dust on the subway and sand left on their clothes. Uganda's parliament yesterday passed a law that criminalizes identifying as LGBTQ, handing authorities broad new powers to target Ugandans who already face illegal discrimination and mob violence. Team Nepal are currently playing Laos in the inaugural match of the Prime Minister Three Nations Cup. The match, which is being played at the Dashat Stadium, kicked off at 6 p.m. earlier this evening. Prior to the match, Nepal captain Kiran Chemjong had said that despite the exit of several members of the squad, Team Nepal would prioritize performance. Prospective owners of Manchester United have until 9 p.m. local time today to submit revised bids to buy the club, according to media reports. United are expected to receive more than 5 bids before the deadline, with only 2 parties publicly declaring their interest: Qatari banker Sheikh Jassim and Iron EOS owner Jim Ratcliffe. Richard Browning, the inventor of the jet suit, has revealed plans to form an international race series, Think Red Bull Air Race Meets Iron Man, with celebrities and sporting personalities pushing the limits of physics in spectacular waterfront locations worldwide. The plan will see pilots racing the 1500 bhp jet suits against each other and the clock over a slalom course marked out with floating gates. Laguna Park was where the jet suit set its first Guinness World Speed record of a mere 32 mph in 2018 a record which was upstaged to 85 mph in 2019. Gravity Industries has just announced investment has topped 38 million in just 6 years since the company's launch. The company are working with specialist paramedic response services and various allied special and elite forces to develop the jet suits for a number of civilian and military roles. Browning says the company also intends to grow its entertainment and flight training business. That's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will be at 10:30 tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.